Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Seven Circles. My name is Jonathan. Thank you for tuning in. We are live today, kicking it. I wanted to do a little live video. We've actually been trying to do this for a while. I brought my beautiful, talented, tapped in sister back, Sheba, aka the Oracle.
Hi,
Welcome,
how's everybody doing?
welcome back. Welcome back. How are you today?
Doing good. Thank you for having me.
Cool. So I didn't do much advertising on this because we kind of did it at the last moment. But we got
Mm-hmm.
hopefully we get a lot of people joining here tonight.
Yeah,
I'm very excited to have you back. Thank you for blessing us with your presence once again. How you been?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to be back and, talk to the people. So,
Beautiful, beautiful. There's a lot going on, man. A whole lot. But we're talking about elements today, but there's a lot going on. So there's first of all, we found out that we already knew, but Putin announced that Jesus is black. So I'm gonna tie that into the elements somehow because I kind of want to tap into that because Jesus was really big on the elements. And
hmm
if you read the Dead Scroll C, which was the Dead Sea Scrolls, which was recovered in 1947. And those were the actual teachings of Yahshua. And he spoke all about communing, with the elements. So maybe we'll touch that. Also, on April 8th, we have this eclipse, and it's a
hmm
solar eclipse, which is huge. And the next one won't be happening until a couple decades. So I want to tap in on that a little bit,
Okay.
just kind of giving you a little bit of material. And then a lot of other stuff is happening. We ain't gonna get into the drama and all that other stuff that's happening. Take that, because this ain't that type of show right here. But the elements, man. Now, the reason why I think we should talk about the elements, those who follow the channel, I'm a yogi. In the yogic tradition, we know that we're composed of the 5 elements. And I
Right.
don't remember the exact percentages, but I'm gonna wing it a little bit, but it is on my channel. I know that we are made of I last time I checked, 76% water. It was 4% fire. Okay. It was what was it? It was 4% ether as well too.
Oh, that's
And then
interesting.
it was I think 6% fire, and then the rest of it was air. And those numbers are wrong, so I'm letting you know. But it was I'm guesstimating because I do have the information, but I don't have it with me. But it
Where
just
does
goes to
the
show.
fire? I'm sorry.
But it just goes to show how we are made up of the elements. And we inhale, we exhale, we have this fire element in us called Agni. Is resides in our stomach area.
Yeah.
And then also that's where our solar plexus is. And that's why we take in the sun through that area, right? And then so also, of course, we have the water, which is our blood, right?
Yes.
And we have this prana. The prana is our life force. When we used to go to ceremony and we were doing a lot of healing, whether it was an ayahuasca ceremony, peyote, or just a ceremony of a lot of people around the fire, they would be like,
It was chant.
it
I
was
know
a chant.
chant.
And the chant was
Red
earth,
earth,
my
my
body.
water.
What was it?
Oh yeah, red. Oh yeah, red earth, my body. Water, my blood. Uh, air, my breath, and fire, my spirit.
Fire my spirit, exactly. And a lot of people only focus on those 4 elements, but they
Yeah.
always forget about the fifth element. And that's why the fifth element was always such a thing, because like Bruce Willis talked about it, the fifth element, but then you had
Yeah.
a cartoon back in the days like Earth, Wind, Fire, but then it was heart, right? And then a lot of people talk about like, hey, what is the fifth element? What is the fifth element? And so,
Ether.
but that fifth element is ether or akash or whatever you want to call it, but there's many different names for it. But I want to tap in with you. I know I talk a lot, and I wanted to tap in, and I want you to speak to the people and kind of talk about the elements. And I'm just gonna let you have the show, and I'm gonna sit back and learn as well too.
I mean, the elements, like talk about the elements and what in reference or in what context to
Okay, so
manifestation or in like everyday life or
yeah,
how
so
to
so
grow.
the, so the premise of this show is how do we commune with these elements? Because what I think people need to understand is our language. When we go to the voting system and we go to elect somebody in the election,
Mhm.
that el means power. That's why we have electricity, power. That's why all of the angels, right? Michael, Gabriel, or Raphael, whatever. El is the for God, right? And so, since L is for God and God is power, all of these elements, when you look at elements, you spell it with EL, right? And so it's letting you know that when you commune with these elements, you're actually getting power. And not are you just getting power, you're getting electricity because we
Mhm.
are ran off of electricity. Yogananda talked about this. He talked about how electricity moves up and down our spine. So
Yeah.
elements, EL, electricity, right? So when we commune, meaning that when we communicate or we're meditating on these elements, we're having this relationship and we're getting the power which is going to invigorate us, juice us up, and make us stronger. So let's start with let's actually go out of the line and let's start with fire.
Okay.
And I don't know who's watched that cartoon, but if you haven't, you should. Avatar: The Last Airbender, incredibly great cartoon, and I think they took like 6 or 7 years just to make it. I mean, they went really, really deep into making that cartoon, and it has a lot of truth in it. And I truly
Okay.
believe that we can uh, control the elements once we get to a certain level of consciousness.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on fire? Because fire is one of those things where it's kind of like meta, like it's here, but it's not here. The nature of fire is always to go up, climb up, climb up, climb up. Like, what is your thoughts on fire? Like, talk to me about fire.
Okay. So like well, just to like start off with the elements overall a little bit for me, like the elements, yeah, they're, we live amongst them, we are made of them. And so where did I go? So in life, it's important for us to um have a connection and or a relationship with them, a conscious relationship, a conscious connection, because we already have a connection that's not gonna go anywhere as long as we're on this physical. So like different connections with different elements will bring us different results. So like fire is great for manifesting. I know, just like your spirit, everything you do, it's spirit first. It has to manifest through spirit first, and then physical is the last manifestation. That's why Earth is so slow. You know what I mean? But spirit is very fast, it's speedy, and it needs it needs to keep going. So it needs to keep having something to like kind of latch onto. So it needs air. So in other words, we need, well, moving into the air. But if I can't connect them, um, when we have our soul or our spirit, it needs constant breath for our body to constantly respirit. That's hence the respiratory system, the respiratory system. And so, yeah, fire needs that. Fire needs that big time. But it's great for manifestation. It's great for expressing itself and expressing yourself in this physical. Um, so yeah, that's
So
fire.
fire and air go hand in hand. They can't be without one another.
That is true. Fire does, yeah. Now I don't know about the air, but then what would the air be without fire? It wouldn't exist, right?
I don't know. I'm asking you.
I mean, that's what I'm thinking. Like in my, as far as like the body, as far as we talking about the body, if we have our spirit, which represents the fire, and then we have the air, which represents our breath. Yeah, if we wasn't breathing, our spirit wouldn't be here on in connection with these other elements in this physical plane. So I would think that they can't exist without the other.
What are some ways that you use fire to manifest? Give me an example of how you use fire to manifest what you want.
You can, for one, so it's a few ways. Communing with your spirit. So like through meditation, conscious awareness. That's like connecting with your spirit, because we just talked about how the spirit represents fire. So that's like an inner way to connect with fire and to manifest. And
But
also like imagination. So like when you commune with your spirit or connect with your spirit consciously, because we're always connected with it, but consciously, when you're connected with it, um, you can manifest through like I don't know. I just lost my train of thought. I'm sorry.
But,
Like
oh, you're fine. But so like people use like candles. People
yeah,
use
I was going to get into that for the
yeah,
outside part.
yeah. I mean, and that's kind of what I'm curious about. Like, how do you
Mhm.
actually use fire to manifest? Like, I hear what you're saying. Like the fire, like symbolically
Goodness.
represents the spirit. You
Yeah.
know, and yeah, this is true, right? I can definitely see that. Okay, cool. And I definitely got a fiery spirit, especially being an Aries, right? But like, how do you actually use the fire to actually manifest? Do you have some type of ritual that you do? Do you have some type of divination around it? Do you actually talk to the fire? You know, there was a movie, right? There's a movie that got an Oscar winning, and it was about a yogi. It took place in 1937, and he obtained these incredible powers. But what he did was he focused on the flame of the fire and stared at it for a long time. And by him doing that constantly, he obtained a type of city, aka some type of power where he can see without his physical eyes. Do you use the actual fire itself um, to help you on this plane? And if so, how do you do that?
Okay, so yeah, people use fire a lot, like through candles, like you were saying. There's different meditations you can use with the candles. There's different intentions you can set. Um, Different colors that you can use, like different colors of the candles that you can use to manifest certain things. Um, so yeah, definitely you can use fire for manifestation. More love in your life, like and and I must say this. Okay, so when you're using candles, and I was just talking about this with somebody the other day, but when you're using candles, um, you can't just depend on that outside energy. That's why I was stressing the inner energy first of communion connecting with your spirit, because when you use like outside stuff, that's fine, it'll work for a amount of time, it'll give you some energy, but if you don't hold that energy within you, it's going to be fleeting,
Mm,
you know. But yeah,
that makes
people use candle magic for money, bring more prosperity, to help them with their career, bring more passion in life, bring a lover, whatever it may be, you know, bring positive energy. I do have a story
before you get to that story,
about candle magic.
before you get to that story, let me ask you this, because according to the scenes and the scenes, Jesus was in the scene.
I
What's the
remember
guy's
that.
name? The guy with the dreadlock, the big locks. Samson. Samson was in the scene. Joseph was in the scene. All of them, right? And they had this thing where they would say that fire, like we're talking about, is the fire of death. But then the fire of life was considered the sun, Ra. And the fire of life, they said, cooked all of the food. It's automatically cooking your apples and your plums and your peaches, right? And when it's
Yeah,
ripe, it's ready. So
yeah.
one was the fire of life, one was the fire of death. So we're talking about fire in terms of manifesting, right? And you're talking about the spirit represents the fire. I can see the spirit representing definitely the sun as well, more than the actual physical fire. Do you,
Because the soul, right? It's the soul and then
it's
sun,
oh,
and it makes the same difference. Yeah,
exactly,
absolutely.
the soul and the soul. What is your take on fire versus fire from the sun?
Okay, so I do think that the sun represents fire, obviously, you know, represents the soul, you know, solar, sun, same difference. Different, same difference as in words, right? But I think that the sun is not really hot when you get up there,
Hmm.
you know. I don't really think fire even has to be hot. Um, I don't
Hmm.
know.
That's interesting.
But I think as far as like manifesting with the sun, or like working with that side of fire, you know, what we're talking about now, the sun, I
Hmm.
think that it's important for everybody, every background, everybody to have some type of connection with the sun. We do. We just have to, you know what I mean? Because ultimately it sounds weird, but we eat light. So like in the sun, we eat the sun rays, you know what I mean? That's our first source of nutrition. So we need that to stay here on earth. But yeah, and then I
Okay.
mean, and then there's sun gazing. A lot of people do sun gazing. That's really healthy. Your that opens up your spirit and your physical mind, your spirit mind and your physical mind to have more of a connection with one another.
Hmm.
Um, and then there is I forgot one more other thing that I was going to mention with the sun, but just getting out in the sun and getting the rays of the sun is super important for manifestation for living overall.
I think
Um,
it's I
but it
think it's
helps.
interesting. No matter what type of fire you look at, whether it's fire that we're normally accustomed to, or it's actually fire as far as the sun, both of them are responsible for purifying. And
Mm,
we notice how we can take a crucible and we add a bunch of metals to it, whatever. We're trying to get gold, heat it up really, really hot, right? And you pour off whatever, and then you have that piece of gold left, and that's the purification. But it can also purify a person as well too. You're going through the fire, you're hot, you're purifying your body, you're sweating it out. It's one of those things. And even I remember, like, I was in Golden Gate Park, and there was this little cave type thing, and it smelled like piss. Like everybody was pissing in there, and there was a part that was exposed to the sun, and the part that was exposed to. I got somebody in the door. Give me 1 second, y'all. Give me 1 second. 1 second. 1 second. 1 second.
are we still live?
Yeah, we're live. 1 second. Yeah.
Okay, so I guess being that I'm here and we're talking about the elements, I'll still continue to talk about them, I guess, in a way. Let me tell you my candle story, okay? So this is how I know candle magic works. At first, I was like, I don't really believe this works, or I really didn't see it working for me. I really couldn't feel it too much. Because like I'll dress my own candles, which means like, put certain oils or herbs around it that represent what you want. I'm telling them the candle story, so now you gotta let me finish. So yeah, so all right, so like black candles for protection and like letting go of negative energy. Well, I have a neighbor and she was going through some stuff in the summertime or like in the fall time. She was going through some things where she was like having an emotional breakdown or whatnot. Her family came and her family was really worried. And I talked to her family because she's right next door to me and I saw like some of her emotional breakdown. So they wanted my number and blah blah blah. Well, she saw that I was talking to the family members and she got upset with me and confronted me. Um,
Mhm.
I'm laughing because she would call me like smiley lady because I was kind of ignoring her a little bit because she was kind of goofy. Well,
Mhm.
anyway, I lit the candle and I asked God for a sign, that the candle was really working. So I went to sleep, the candle's lit, whatever. The next day I wake up, I'm going to my car or whatever, and I see her, she's at her door, and she's like, "Hi, neighbor, how are you this morning?" I was like, "Oh, the candle's working."
Or she just like pretty much changed.
So yeah, so
Mm.
it does work. I mean, we're still cool. We still talk, me and the neighbor. So
Right.
as long as now, if I would have been a biatch to her, then it would have taken away the energy of the candle. It would have been no use for it. So yeah,
Interesting, interesting. Okay, okay, cool. Let's move along. Let's actually go to the opposite of the candle. I mean, of the fire, because I find it interesting that fire, no matter what, by its very nature, always climbs up and is
yeah,
hot by nature. But
yeah.
then the total opposite of it, if you want to put it out, we have water, and water is always going down. If you're lost and something you want to find water, go to the lowest spot. It's always going to go down.
That's true. I
And
never thought of it like that.
yeah, and water is cool in nature, so it's the exact opposition of fire.
Hmm.
How do you commune with water? What does water mean for you?
Oh, water is so powerful. Water is powerful. All the elements are powerful. Let me not act like one is better than the other, but obviously. So we're like really like 85%, 90% water
Okay.
beings. Um, Water, communing and connecting with water is very important to stay hydrated. I'm sure we all know it prevents different, diseases. And I'm sure everybody heard like, oh, if you're dehydrated, you can uh, get this disease, this disease, this disease, and it could have been prevented if you were hydrated, you know. Um, I know it takes a lot for channelers, like people that channel. I don't know if I'm getting too deep, but people that
No, no,
channel.
no, 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 no. On this channel, you get as deep as the ocean when we're talking
Okay,
about water. So you can't
okay,
get too deep. You can't get too deep when you're talking about water.
okay. So yeah, water is very cleansing, and I know that like channelers, they have to be fully hydrated in order to take on another entity into channel.
Mm.
Um, that is super important. Water's super important. Okay, now as far as like with manifestation,
Well, not even
um,
so much
well,
manifestation.
okay,
Well,
well,
well, go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
as far as other aspects of water, like using it, it flushes, so it cleanses you. So like even your emotions, if like let me tell you, I used to be at work and my boss would be getting on my nerves. I drank a whole bunch of water. It's like it'll alleviate it. You know what I mean? It alleviates it. So if you're like going through a lot of stress or whatever, or you know, drink some water. It does make you feel better.
Mm.
You just drink
So,
some water. And
so
then I do also know about, I'm sure everybody heard about how you could change the molecules of water, by speaking to it. You could sun gaze your water and to put different energies in there because that energy will go to you. Because water holds energy, it holds thought. And then it really, yeah, it holds energy, it holds thought. And so you can pray over your water. I mean, these are tests and studies that were done. Um, when you pray over your water, it holds that prayer. And when you drink it, it'll be highly beneficial for your body. And if we want to look at it in a way of manifesting or bringing about more bliss or joy to your life, you can do it like that too.
Sheba, let me ask you this question, Sheba. And those who don't know, this is my sister, so we just whatever. But my younger sister, by 2 years. But why is it that many people are so obsessed nowadays with manifesting? Manifest, manifest, manifest. Just like so many people are obsessed with generational wealth, get in the bag, like just these names, like. What is the whole big thing about manifest? We manifest every day. We no matter what we do, we're constantly manifesting. We manifested this right here, this thing that we're doing. We manifested your hairdo. We're made from a creator. We're creative, and no matter what we do, we're gonna create. We're creation, like we're divine creation. Like we're always going to manifest. Why do you think that people have an issue with manifesting what they want? A lot of people seem to be good at manifesting what they don't want. Why do you think that people have an issue with manifesting what they do want?
Well, myself as well, and I know others, because we were conditioned in that way. We have so much coming at us from the time, even before we were born, of you need this or you're not going to be happy. You need this to look a certain way. You need this, you need this, you need this. So that tells us subconsciously that we're not good enough, that we need something to fix us. And so, as far as like manifesting what we don't want, we constantly thinking of what we are not and what we don't have because we're always something is always projecting at us saying you don't have this, so you're not good enough.
Mm. All right.
And
There are many different types of water, man. And honestly, it gets annoying. You go to the store, first, it gets annoying. First of all these waters are in plastic bottles, just sitting there, man. Then you got the deal with 100 different types, right? And then it's like, all right, fine. Then you got the tap water. The tap water got all kinds of stuff in it that can't even be taken out, like what is it called? Birth control and all kinds of stuff. It's literally we're drinking the same water that people are urinating, which is going through a treatment system. Um, like did they say you can't save the rainwater? You can actually get arrested or some type of fine or something. You save the
really,
rainwater. Yeah, yeah, and a lot of states. I've done the research. Like just the water thing, right? I mean, even back in the days, man. I remember when I was younger. You too, like we didn't buy water. Water was different. Like,
yeah,
why do you think that there's
like
such
it
an
wasn't bottled water. I don't
no?
remember bottled water.
Absolutely not. Why do you think that there's such an attack on water?
Because people want to control. That's really it. I don't know what else to say. They want control over other people.
Mm, mm. Well, okay, so I want to say something then, and then we move to the next element. I just want the people to notice. A lot of people, I was talking about Jesus earlier and the
Mhm.
actual teachings of Jesus, according to this, right? From the Dead Scroll Seas. I don't know if I have a
The Dead Sea Scrolls.
yeah.
I,
This book was given to me by my dad a
what is it?
long time ago, and it's the only piece of it that I have.
What's it
Um,
called?
it's from the Dead Scrolls Seas. So back in the 1940s, they ended up finding a bunch of scrolls, and they had a bunch of great records on them. So there's a lot of great information in them.
Yeah.
So in regards to water, right? Water, like what you said, it purifies. But in regards to Jesus, right? In the Catholic Church, they drink grape juice and they eat the bread, symbolizing the blood and the flesh of Christ. And
Right.
Adama talks about this a lot, purifying the blood so that your blood is clean, because you don't want the fetus of aborted chickens in there, meaning eggs. You don't, this. And I'm speaking the words of Adama. She's actually going to be live this coming Saturday, right? And so also with the blood, when we breathe, right, we're cleaning the blood out as well too.
Yeah.
But the blood is really water, almost like if you have diabetes, your blood's like too much sugar in it. It's almost like sticky. You want to drink a lot of water. People don't know that. I'm not going to put out any information that would get me taken off, but I am a certified yoga instructor, so I can't talk about some stuff where YouTube has to acknowledge that, right? But
Me
if you drink
too.
a lot, if you drink a lot of water, if you drink a lot of water, and then you can get it helps with a lot of these pains and diseases and things that people have. So I just put it like that.
Yeah.
Uh, Fasting in regards to cleaning the blood. Uh, when you're fasting, do you just drink regular water, or are you mixing something with your water? Like, are you doing spring water? Are you doing distilled water? Are you doing lemon water? I know I interviewed a guy before. I forget his name. Maduk. That was like 2 years ago. He will always put lime in his water. He said just by adding lime, you naturally alkalize the water. And I think he said Dr. Sabi told him that.
Mhm.
What is your take? Like, what are you drinking every day? Like, as far as like water, do you have a Brita, some type of filter? Like, how does that go?
I do distilled water or I do alkaline water. I
Distilled
either
water, or alkaline?
bottle I either do bottled alkaline water or distill water from a distiller. And the alkaline when I go on a fast, which I do, not everybody goes on fast. So when I do go on a fast, yeah, I like to add water, cayenne pepper, um, the maple syrup. What's that? The master cleanse. I'll do that. Sometimes I'll just do a water cleanse. But I really like the I don't know. I like the alkaline water.
Why?
um I don't know, it just makes my body feel a certain way. And it's not
After.
like I drink it all the time because it's expensive. And I
Mhm.
don't like the kind of alkaline water that they alkaline it themselves. I like the real alkaline water to where it comes out of the spring alkaline itself.
So you go
Because
to the spring and get it?
no, there
Oh,
are companies, certain companies, where the water will come out of the spring already alkaline.
okay.
And then there are different companies to where you know,
You use a machine.
refilter the water or whatnot. Yeah, and alkaline the water through a machine. I don't care for that kind. I like the naturally alkaline water and or the distilled water, which I'm drinking now.
So your
And
palate is
you should put
sensitive.
some lemon in it.
So your palate is sensitive enough to notice the difference between different waters. You can notice
Yeah,
different.
my palate is sensitive. Not everybody noticed, but it's always been like that ever since I was younger. But I can tell the difference definitely.
Mm,
Some water's more softer, some goes down more easy, like that.
mm, mm. What do you think about salt water?
That's a good flush. Like if you want to do it in the morning time on empty stomach,
Mhm,
it flushes your colon.
mhm.
So salt water is good for that. And you want to use sea salt, of course. No
I, I
iodine.
was I was thinking in terms of like the ocean.
The ocean. Okay. So salt water in that way, actually all salt water, even if you want to add it like to your bath or something, salt water is really cleansing. So it
Mm,
cleanses your spirit, but it also, it cleanses your body. It helps to heal like any cuts. I'm sure we know that. Like when we go in the ocean and we have a cut and then like we get out that day and later on you're like, oh, I'm healed up. Like that was the salt water.
mm,
But I do know that as far as like on the spiritual part, salt water is well, okay, on the physical part, let me it's beautifying as well, so it like beautifies the skin. The sea salt water and things like that makes your skin softer, and whatnot. And then on the spiritual end, salt water is more so, or you can cleanse yourself. It like cleanses your spirit. It cleanses energy off of people.
okay.
Yeah,
Oh
so
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah, yeah. I forgot about that. Yeah.
I have
Like,
this soap right here.
you mean like if you're doing what was that?
It's an energy cleansing soap with pink sea salt.
Oh,
And
okay.
it's really great for people that like work in, crowded areas, or people that are sensitive, empathic people that pick up on other people's energy, because other people's energy gets stuck to us a lot. And
Yeah.
so that's why there's a such thing called a spiritual bath, where you can cleanse that energy off. And salt is one of the best things. Sea salt is one of the best things to clear off, amongst with other things. But that's a really good one.
Every time I hear salt water, like the ocean, I automatically think crystal water because salt is a crystal
Ooh,
in itself. And so
I
to me,
do.
that's what I think. And I think about the power of a crystal and what
Mhm.
crystals can do, piezoelectricity and all of that. And I also think about salt the minute you put it on something, as a former chef, the minute you put
Yeah.
salt on something, you're automatically drawing up moisture. Right.
Hmm.
So if it automatically draws moisture up, and then imagine salt water, what is that actually doing on a more cellular level? I don't know. I'm not sure, but I think it's really something to it. I'm gonna talk to Adam about that and see what her thoughts are.
Yeah.
Let's move along. Let's move along to
You want
the
to do
break.
the rating?
We talk so goofy, man. We're talking
I
about the
don't know
element,
what's his name.
huh?
What's that guy?
What? See, but why? Why are you so goofy, man?
Because it's late on my time, and
No,
I
no,
get
no.
guilty when it's late.
Okay, cool. All right, so what do you think? So we talked about fire, we talked about water, you talked about earth. Air a little bit in regards to spirit. And
We didn't
before we
really
get,
talk about Earth. We didn't talk about
no,
Earth.
no, no. We didn't talk about earth. We didn't talk about earth. And we didn't talk about air. But I want to skip those two, and we're gonna go
Okay.
back to it. I want to know straight up. What is your take on the fifth element? How do
I
you
don't
see it?
know. I don't know. I'm not really. I don't know what ether is. I always forget. But what is the fifth element? And then if you explain it to me, I can.
No, just in your opinion.
I don't know the fifth
How do you?
element.
But if
The
somebody
only
was
thing
to
I
say,
know about I know about ether is Nas song, of course. But I'm serious. Other than that, I don't know. What did they say? Ether is like it's prana, right? Is it prana? It's like the little. It's like it's inside the air. It's life force inside the air, right?
yeah.
Okay, so I know what prana is, chi, or whatever you want to call it, Holy Spirit, in the Western, whatever you want to call it. Okay, I know about the fifth element then. I didn't know that was it though. But yeah, I think that moves us throughout life. It allows us to remain healthy. It allows us to remain energized. Um, it really, I think, allows us to move throughout time. That's really it. Like, I mean, I'm not gonna act like it. I'm not gonna minimize it, but because those are very big. But
yeah.
yeah, that's
So
what I know about it. Like, it moves through our body and it makes us, or it helps us to move throughout this life in a
mm,
healthy way. I would also say it connects all of the other elements. So, like, without it, I feel like the other elements wouldn't even be, they couldn't even do anything. Like how we talked about the relationship between fire and air,
Mhm.
like that's the main one, the ether, the life force energy.
Mm. Yeah, so in the Hindu tradition, there's a god, right? A goddess. There's so many gods in them. One is
Hmm.
called the monkey god, right?
Hmm.
And the monkey god, he's Hadamana, and he's Brahman, right? Which is he looks at Hanuman as his favorite, and this is symbolic because the breath, as you were saying, and ether are very very closely related, and so that's why they say that he was his favorite because they're very very closely related. And
Hmm.
so if you look at the five hemispheres that makes up our planet, we have five different hemispheres. You have like the stratosphere, the lotosphere, and it's like a couple more. I don't remember all the names, but the atmospheres. Uh, when you get to a certain level, I don't know how many feet it is, there's no more air. But
Hmm.
but then there still is more prana, more prana, more prana. Prana is everywhere. Prana is what animates all living things. Without prana, there would be no living thing.
So
And
it's the
so,
Holy Spirit.
huh?
It's the Holy Spirit.
So when you think about your mind, and when you
Hmm.
think about your ojas, which is your sexual energy, and then when you think about prana, they're all interconnected. So in the ancient yogi texts for a Brahmi, which is like someone that is completely celibate, walking on this path, the ultimate path to God, we say that if you can control the mind, then that means that you can control the prana, and you can also control uh uh the other one. The prana, the mind, and um what's the other one? The mind, the prana. Oh, and the ojas, because they're all interconnected. So if you can control the ojas, then you're controlling the prana and the mind.
Hmm.
So I don't know if that makes sense. Let me actually put this so people can really get this, because our mind, right, controls everything. That's the first thing of the Hermetic principles. Mind controls all. Mentalism controls all. Buddha would say this: everything is mind. You can control your mind. You can control everything. One of the hardest things for men and women, but definitely men, is their sexual energy, right? And so, as a brahmachari, somebody who is walking that path, right, if they can control that, if they can control their sexual energy, their mind, then they're actually controlling the prana as well too. This triangle, basically, what I'm saying is that they're all interconnected, no matter what. The mind, the prana, and the ojas, the sexual energy, or the ojas, the prana, mind, and the. It doesn't matter which way you turn that triangle, whichever
They're all
way,
connected.
they're all interconnected. And then when you think about life force,
Hmm.
right? That is actually what creates a life. And you think about that all life is everywhere, right? You think
Yeah.
about that the mind is everywhere. If you and you think about that every single element, even if you look at the five platonic solids, if anybody knows about the five platonic solids, is that all of these things come from the actual ether,
Hmm.
right? And so if that's the case, then if you can control one, you can control all of the elements. And if you can control all of the elements, then that means that you can control everything. Everything, because we are made up of the elements, and the elements are everywhere.
That's why Storm is so level-headed from the
Uh
X-Men.
X Men, yeah,
Really, she's very spiritual. She's very level-headed. It's no coincidence why you know Stanley
yeah.
created her like that.
Interesting. But yeah, I find prana extremely powerful, and there's a lot of ways, because we're talking about secrets, and I actually want to give you guys some alpha, and not just some stuff that you heard someone else before, that you can just find on a Google thing, because there's really a lot of secrets that are right in front of your face, and some of these secrets we actually can't get them unless if we are at a higher frequency. A good way to say it is, the more books that you read, you can stand on those, or you can stand on the knowledge from those books, or the wisdom from those books, and now you have a higher vantage point. Now you can see more, right? And that's why it's important to keep on learning, 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 learning. So I'll show you guys why she's not here right now. A really good secret to get your
No,
chi,
I'm here.
and to get your prana up. A good way to get your chi and a good way to get your prana up is just doing, as we call it in yoga, pranayama, and that's literally alternating nostril breathing. Just taking one nostril, closing it, closing the other one, and exhaling.
No, it doesn't go like that. No, no, no. You always want to start with your left. You want to
Sheba,
bring.
Sheba, Sheba, Sheba.
Okay.
Hold up, wait,
All right,
stop.
never mind. I'm not gonna say nothing.
And this one. And there are many variations to do this, and many different types of ways to do it. And Sheba, she's probably been taught a traditional way, or it's fine, whatever. But just like the asanas, we know that there are, some people would say 85,000 asanas. You look at something like Bikram, they say, oh, only 26 asanas, right? Those are the yoga postures. When we talk about pranayama, there are many different pranayamas that you can do. But the best thing that I would recommend, even if you're just starting off and just checking it out, is just start having a relationship with your breath and with your self. Because what's going to happen is your spirit is automatically going to take over eventually, and it's going to do what it needs to do to get itself into a place of alignment. But I just wanted to put that out there as far as prana, how closely related it is to the air. And if you want to access prana, which is actually the key to a lot of things, if you've seen some of the yoga postures that I do or whatever, some other stuff that I can do that I'm not going to talk about, I shouldn't put it online. You have to tap into the prana and you have to have a relationship with it. And it's alive just as you are alive and I'm alive because it makes everything alive. So it has to be alive. But yeah, you got anything to add on to that?
No,
You mad because I cut you off with the pranayama things.
no, I'm not. I'm not mad.
Yeah, man. Okay.
I was gonna say no. It is really important about the breath, like keeping the breath. Um, doing breath exercises. Um, that's that's one big thing why we could prevent a lot of diseases if we would get more oxygen in our body. One way to get more oxygen in is very simple. It's just doing some breath exercises, only for like 5-10 minutes a day. You know. So yeah, I really agree.
Earthing. A lot of people are big on earthing. Get grounded. You bad. Get grounded, and that's the earth, right? So we're gonna go to the next element. I know you got those hands on those cards, man. Relax. We're gonna get to that a little bit. All right. What's up with the earthing, man? What do you think about earthing? How do you look at the earth? We don't have to. It doesn't have to be barefoot earth. I know people like we talk about Adamo again. She's a big influence to both of us. She put you on with cardiology. She put me on with numerology, and that was over 20 years ago, right? So like, she has this special clay that cleanses the body out,
I love the
and
red. I love her red clay. I was looking at Seven Otters. Where is it?
so we have Adama talk all about the clay. You know what I'm saying when she come up, but because I tell her that you went to 7 hours looking for it,
Yeah, a few times. I really need some.
but call her up and she'll send it to you.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell her. I'll give you have a number.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, and but by the way, I actually shout her out. Do I have her number? Yeah, I'll shout her number out right here because she wants people to call her. So anybody that follows, and if you want to get your some of this clay, which is very good for purifying, you will definitely want to hit up oops. You would definitely want to hit Adama up. Her number will be 678 760 9299. All right, and just hit her up and she would definitely hook you up. I hope that's the number that she gave out because otherwise I messed up. But I believe it is. So what do you think about earthing? Well, what does the earth mean to you? What is your relationship to the earth? I know I quickly mentioned grounding and the clay, but forget about what I said. How do you see it? Don't let me be an influence.
So with earthing, of course, grounding, the earth to me, we are the earth. We're a part of it. We're in connection with it. But the earth energy, it moves very slow. It's the last manifestation. And I know you're not really talking about manifesting, but I kind of am. I don't know, because it's why we're here on this earth, like I know you talked about it earlier, but I didn't really get a chance to say nothing about it.
No, do you? I was asking. My job is just to ask questions. That's all. Yeah.
But like manifesting is so important for me, and I think it's important for a lot of people too. It's because that's why we're here. That's really why we're here, to co-create. And we want to create things that we want, that we desire. You know what I mean? Things that make us feel good. We don't want to create crap in our lives. You know what I mean? And so I think that's why manifesting is so important for people at this time, and it should be. Or it, I don't,
I find it interesting
I don't
that
really like to use the word should, but in this case, I think it actually should be. If it's important to somebody, then they should want to manifest. You know what I mean? It's why we're here on this earth.
yeah.
Um, but as far as like grounding and the earth, yeah. The earth is about like manifesting too, like what you want here on this earth. So when you have like a deeper connection with the earth, or like grounding, even if like you take off your shoes and ground, or if you meditate and ground, there's plenty of ways to ground. You know, you don't have to just walk barefoot to ground to the earth, but it's about feeling secure here on this earth. Um, and like having your, like, you ever see a tree and like the roots are so deeply in, you know, that tree's not going nowhere. It's so grounded and so stable and steady right there. Well, right, very strong. Even if it is a palm tree that sways, you know what I mean? It's still very now you're being the one that's goofy. Now, but no, it's but you know how the roots of a tree is so into the ground to where it's like we can ground like that too, not necessarily physically, but in a spiritual way. Because like I notice as I've gotten older, I feel so much more secure versus in my 20s. You know what I mean? I felt like just, I don't know, kind of all over the place. But now I feel more secure and stable, even if my outside is still the same, still, you know.
You're more
Um,
you're more rooted in your reality, perhaps.
Yeah, yeah, I'm here. You know what I mean? I'm here. But but yeah, that's how I feel about the earth
So
and manifesting with it, or working with the elements of the earth. Another thing I want to say about the earth too. Actually, no, go ahead.
you sure?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll say something because I want to give out you guys some secrets, right? That's what I'm about. I'm able to tap in. One thing that I'm going to tell you is that, biblically speaking, it says that we're made from the earth, right? Dust, clay, whatever. That's how we're made. And it's interesting. You started off by saying earth, mind, body, right? When we first started the live, right? Water, my blood. So the earth is your body. The earth is your body. You see people that take a mud bath and their skin looks beautiful, right? Because the earth is your body. And the earth is our mother.
Mm.
And we know that, I'm gonna quote Nas, since we both in Queens and you mentioned him earlier. And I never forgot this. It made a lot of sense to me what Nas said. He said, the earth, he said, your mother is like the closest thing to God, in this reality. He said it around the time when he lost his mom. And yeah, this is our mother. Mother Earth, man. She's powerful. Powerful, powerful, powerful. And you can actually tap in and talk to your mother anytime you want to, just like an avatar. Anytime they wanted to talk to the Great Spirit, you can talk to them. And the way that you do this is, first, you have to have a sincere heart. Second, take your shoes off, because, I'm going to say this really quickly, but if you don't want to get electrocuted or something, you put rubber, right? And that way it stops the circuit, right? Um, but the bottom of your feet, what are the bottom of your feet called? They're called a soul. Just as we was talking earlier too, like your spirit soul, the sun soul. The bottom of your feet are souls as well too. In yoga, when we're lying down after a yoga session, they say never have your feet pointing towards the instructor or towards the teacher, right? You always want to have your feet facing that way. And I said, why? And it said, because your feet is actually going to draw energy from the teacher. And so that's disrespectful, because you're like stealing their energy. And if you
Mm.
know anything about the feet, when we ground, you this part is exposed. You're pulling energy up. You're pulling energy up. So when you go barefoot and you have this sincere heart and you're going to connect with the mother who gave you this body, and you give it back to her when you're finished, right? Um, she opens up to you just as she would to any of her children. Mothers do not play. You think I'm playing? Take a look in the wild. They could be the most heinous beast. I don't care if it's a lion. I don't care if it's a crocodile. If there's a chance and that baby's still alive, that mother's gonna fight. She loves her children, her offspring. And if you really want to connect, she's alive and she's a being, just like anything else. And you can tap in. And but only those with a sincere heart will be able to tap in. So that's the secret when it comes to the earth. And again, earth is an anagram. You change it around and it spells heart, 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 heart. We was talking about heart, being one of those as well too. There's
I
a lot of
don't
secrets.
get that.
There's a lot of secrets in the language. There's a lot of secrets that are all around us. And again, you would never know these secrets until you're at a higher frequency, because some of the secrets are only reserved for people at a higher frequency. But if you want to get to the higher frequency, then okay, fine, learn some more and then apply it. And the more you learn, you're actually stepping higher, and then you can stand on top of that knowledge and wisdom, and you have a higher vantage point, right? And so that's what we're talking about when we talk about Earth. Last but not least, man, before we actually dig into these cards real quick, because we are what are we at? We're an hour? No, we're 51 minutes in, and I want to end it probably like in the next 20 minutes. Got a lot of stuff to do today, as you know. Um, but I do want to touch that solar eclipse and some of these other things when it comes to the cards. So the very last thing that we're going to talk about is air, right? Which we did touch on briefly. One thing that I do want to say before we go into the air is that right now we're in the age of Aquarius. This has been predicted. Said that there'll be a lot of inventions that are coming out that has to do with the air. Obviously, we got cell phones, we got cryptocurrency, we got all this kind of stuff, the internet. Everything is traveling through the ethers, right?
Mhm.
It's really, really powerful right now. Uh, and Tesla said this one quote. I'm gonna say the quote, and then I want you to talk about air.
Okay.
Tesla said, "The minute scientists begin to study the unseen phenomena, we will learn more in 10 years than we did in all of the years of science combined." Right? So to sum that
Mm.
up, the minute scientists begin to study the unseen, underlying the unseen phenomena, we begin to we learn more in 10 years than we did in all of the years of science combined. So what is this unseen? You think about the ears all around us, but it's unseen. It's not we can't see it. Draw. I want somebody to draw a picture of the air. You say, okay, I drew it. Yeah, that's the air. Like we can feel it, but we don't see it. What is this? What is air to you? What does it mean? I know it's composed of oxygen, hydrogen, helium, argon, nitrogen. It's even more nitrogen and argon than I think hydrogen. I'm not sure, but it's up there. What does it mean to you? Is it just a bunch of gases and people farting and things like that floating around, or like is it something else? What do you think?
The air to me, well, the element, um, well, we talked about it. It's our breath. We talked about it in that way. Air is speedy as well. Air is very fast. Air rules the mind. That's why air signs are always so smart, and their minds are always going. They sleep lightly and things like that. But what do you mean? What in what aspect of the air do I?
Well,
Uh,
let me say this, Sheba. I'll leave you on that. I'll let you get into the cards, but let me say this to the people real quick. You guys heard of Benjamin Franklin, right? On a $100 bill, he equated taking air baths to a lot of his intelligence. That guy invented a lot of stuff, and he equated air baths. So he would be naked, and he would suffer the elements of the air. This is communing with the elements of the air. And just as we can take water baths, which people are accustomed of, and most of them actually are hot water baths, which isn't the best thing. So if you are taking a lot of baths and showers, try cold water. You'd be surprised, because keep in mind, hot water, not a lot of that in nature. Most of the water is room temperature and things like that. And earlier we were talking about L from the elements and how it gives us electricity. You're going to get more electricity and more power if you take a colder bath. But going into the air, you take air baths, you can take sun baths, you can take mud baths, every single, and you can even take prana baths. Every single one of these elements that we're talking about, earth, wind, fire, right, whatever, you can take baths with all of these elements and begin to really, really get an intimate relationship with them and find out what they have to teach you. Really. And if you're silent, right, and you listen, because silent and listen, they have the same alphabets, just rearranged differently. If you're really silent, right, and listen, they're going to teach you and they're going to guide you and tell you what to do. You would be surprised uh, um, at air on how it can actually just move some things through you. Like for instance, this was, man, my first ayahuasca retreat. This was like maybe 15 years ago or something like that. But I remember coming out of the sweat lodge and I did something, and then all of a sudden I just made a gigantic burp that sounded like ancient. It sounded like it was a burp that wanted to come from like 100 years ago, like right. And after that, I just had so much power, right? And sometimes we have still air inside of us and things like that, and we don't know that these things are drawing us down. So, I guess secrets when it comes to air would be take a lot of air baths. Take a lot, if you're by yourself or you're in a place where you can do that, and even though it's kind of cold, take a lot of air baths. They say if you want to extend your lifespan, this is alpha right here. If you want to extend your lifespan at least just 10 years, sleep with the window open. You'd be surprised how many people don't sleep with the window open, that they're constantly breathing in still air. And if you can see the sun coming through that air, you would see all the little particles from your dead skin, from the dust and everything. A lot of it's just like, you're constantly going and breathing the same thing over and over again, right? But if you can, keep your windows open, and just, you'd be surprised the power of the air.
Just crack your window, even in the
crack
winter. I've always done that, even in the winter time when it's super cold outside. Just a little crack.
So now let's move into some of the juicy stuff, right? Talk to me about this eclipse that's coming up. I find it significant. This information is coming out with Puff Daddy. Why around this time? I don't know. Putin made an announcement that Jesus is black and showed a bunch of old pictures. And me and MG, we talked about this on our channel a year ago. So this ain't nothing new. We've been knowing about this. But the fact that he talked about it, and now the masses are going to start recognizing this. And a lot of conversations are starting to, and I know a lot of podcasts and people from all demographics, not just people who might look like us or our community or something, are going to be talking about this. Not only that, and then also the bridge, the in Baltimore, there was a ship that was carrying a whole lot of containers, that for the truck drivers to drive them. The captain of the ship, I found out today that he was actually Ukrainian. I don't know if that has any significance, but it was mentioned. I figured I'd just say it. And do you see the way that the bridge fell? It looked almost like a piece of like a toy.
A toy? Like, why is that bridge so weak? Like, that's what I thought.
For it just to come down, like, there's a lot of things going on right now, and the fact that we are having a solar eclipse, people might say, "Oh, it's just a solar eclipse, whatever." But you know what they say, that millionaires follow something, but billionaires follow astrology, right? Astrology is guiding us, believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen. You know what I'm saying? So, talk to us about the solar, and maybe you can tap in and do the cardology or something.
So you want me to see what the solar eclipse is about? Like, I don't know. You have to.
Yeah. What is this? I guess the question that I'm asking you is, what is the significance of the solar eclipse in this time and space? In regards to human consciousness and evolution.
Ask what energy is the solar eclipse going to bring? Okay. Is that okay?
Sure.
Okay. What energy is the solar eclipse going to bring? And this is a full solar eclipse. For people that don't know, the solar eclipse, the full one. So for one, what's wrong?
No, go ahead.
The full solar eclipse. It means obviously it's stronger. We're just going to see the corona of the sun. The moon is going to eclipse the whole sun. So it's going to get dark outside. We're just going to see the corona. Now, eclipses overall, they take things out of our life. They eclipse things out of our lives. So it's time for a fresh start. Things are leaving, things are ending, hence P. Diddy. Um, and there's going to be like a new era. Um, well, okay. The energy is gonna feel like a lot of newness. I don't want to say era because I don't know. It just kind of clipped out, but that's what came through. It's gonna be like a new era. But yeah, a lot's going to end and a lot is going to begin within the 6 months. So the eclipse is not going to like everything isn't going to happen like that. It usually takes like 6 months to a year to see the full effect of the eclipse. But you can, if you tap into yourself on that day, you can understand what is leaving an eclipsing out of your life, and then what's to come, so you can prepare for like what's your next steps. A lot of stuff, that is eclipsing out of our lives at this time is, we have no more use for it. It's just that time. With It's funny. I'm not gonna get into P Diddy, the whole P Diddy thing, but
No, I don't want to know about P Diddy. I don't care about that.
as far as the Putin thing, Putin is first of all, I feel like for one, who gives a flying F what Putin has to say or anybody else has to say about who we are? We are who we are, and that is enough. That is enough.
Okay.
This whole approval thing about like wanting to be approved by others or they got the power or all of that, I think it's BS. Me personally, the power is within us, and we give our power away by thinking that somebody else can validate us. Can't nobody validate us. Just saying, respectfully, Jonathan. And it's just different beliefs. But yeah, I feel like Putin is pandering because he needs people to go fight his war.
That's what you think the whole thing is about.
Yeah, he don't care. I mean, you know what? He's pandering, and of course, you know what? People know the truth. People been know that Jesus was black, even if he wasn't black. And people, let's say,
but it's not just that. What I was bringing up was the fact that he actually had old documents, old paintings of the not just Jesus, the apostles and other biblical figures. And okay, fine. Who cares about the skin color, right? It's such a big thing, right? But who cares? But
no,
it is important.
Color. No, because that's who we are.
Let me finish. But it is important because if it wasn't, then why would he be like a pristine white with blue eyes and constantly put up everywhere? And so I know that the eyes and and the law of association. I talked about this before. How when you associate things together, it gets locked inside of the subconscious. So I know that this is the time of the truth coming out and the unveiling, removing the curtain. Seeing things from a different vantage point. And the fact that somebody has credibility being a royal leader, he leads Russia, which is so-called the third powerful country in the world. I think that that's great significance for someone of that stature to say that. Not that I need anyone to validate me, what I'm saying, or anything like that. I just think that it's important, or it was an important thing, and it should definitely be recognized and not swept under the rug like who cares? Because I've never heard anybody say this throughout the duration of my time here on this planet, in this incarnation. And I know the space and time that we are in.
People say that. I don't mean to cut you off.
No, but not from that leader, not from that stature. You never heard? Have you ever look? Even a Barack Obama. Have you ever heard somebody like that? No, nothing. And Barack Obama himself has a hue that has more melanin than most people. And you still never hear this. There was a girl on TikTok, right? And I don't bring up TikTok. It was a girl. She was black, or so-called black, whatever that means, right? And she was dating this one guy, and the guy was white, right? And he looked like
whatever that means.
And he looked like Jesus, according to what we think Jesus looked like. And she said, "I think I should go with him. He looks like Jesus." Oh, and she started like praying to him and everything. And people in the comments in the video had like, You know what I mean? I don't know if they were just capping or whatever, but I just think that it's important for the truth to get out. I mean, Jesus said it himself, the truth will set you free. Like, it's important just to call things as they are. Call things as they are. You know what I mean? If an apple's an apple, call it an apple. Now, all of a sudden, if an apple and everybody's calling it an orange, and then all of a sudden somebody says, hey, that's an apple. You say, hey, I told you it was an apple.
Yeah.
I'm not here to argue about his facial features. I'm just trying to say the way that school need teachers. You know what I mean? That's Kanye,
He,
right? That's the way
yeah.
they need
We're
Jesus.
gonna need Jesus, yeah.
I don't remember how did it go. I forget. I don't know.
This walk, yeah, I
Well,
know.
yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
but we can't say it. Remember, we're on YouTube or something. Fair use, fair use. I don't know. This is
No,
not
we
our.
can. No, we can repeat that. We can repeat that.
Oh,
But yeah. Please do the reading and tap in and
okay.
let us know about the eclipse, and then we ended on that.
So the energies of the eclipse. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
So a lot of for one, this is the year of truth. So a lot of truth is coming out. A lot of things will be brought to the surface just this year. But okay, looking at the cards with the eclipse, three of clubs. It's our overall energy, so it's a lot of creativity, a lot to do with the mind. People, a lot of people might feel a little wacky during this eclipse, up in the mind space. And even throughout the year, throughout the next 6 months after the eclipse, they might feel a little like, I don't know where to go. Do I really want this? They might really feel a little confused. I would say for everybody, find a creative outlet for your emotional wellness. Find something creative to do. And so that's like the overall energy of the eclipse. The challenge that it's going to bring is some type of money and finances that's going to be hard for us. And I talked about this last year. It's funny because I watched the other one that we did a few months ago, and the King of Diamonds, he was in the same position. Yeah, he was in the same position as now
That's
in
that's
his
that's the one
situation.
eye king, right?
Yeah. And then we have the Queen of Clubs as the result. So this challenge right here with the king. So for one, there is going to be. I'm feeling like there's still going to be some challenges. I'm getting like masculine, feminine energy here, to where there's still going to be like challenges in communication with the masses of men and women. Oh, not masses, but like this whole energy that's going on with like
You mean the
women
dynamic?
stepping with like, let me get this out, with like women stepping up to the plate, or like the feminine energy coming up. um I feel like men are having a problem with that, but I feel like also we're all going to be challenged with finances in some type of way. And it doesn't mean, don't like take that and be like, oh, I'm going to be broke. Find things to do so that you don't have to be broke, you know what I mean? So that's what I'm getting with the queen and king here. I do want to say one more thing with this queen. So it looks like even though we're going to have some challenges financially with this eclipse, it looks like some things are going to be eclipsed out financially. But um, we're going to get more we're going to understand how to communicate better coming out of this eclipse. So it might be like rocky for a while as far as our mind. Remember, Ryan said like it's going to be like all over the place. I don't know. That's the energy I get. People like just not being level headed, really.
Okay.
But I feel like coming out of that, we're going to be more level headed. We're going to be more intuitive. Our minds are going to be more clear. We're going to know how to communicate with one another more. I feel like this eclipse is eclipsing out a lot of energy of confusion as it relates to our mind. Um, yeah, we're going to be able to further get our goals met as we move throughout this eclipse. Um, any money that you have to pay off, I'm getting to like you're gonna it's people's gonna have money, financial, some type of financial, something is being eclipsed out. That's going to be a challenge for people. I don't know what it is, and we're talking about society. You know what I mean? So this could be banks or something like that, credit unions. I don't know. Um,
As
I
far as
feel
like, as
like
far as like we're not gonna have access to our money. You think? Or you think it's gonna be like some like electronic thing, maybe a solar flare or whatever type thing that now
I feel like there's just a lot of fear around money,
mm,
and a lot of arguments around money from the people higher up that's going to trickle down to us.
mm,
So, like the people higher up, um, that's like, printing the money or, typing in the numbers or whatever,
mm,
I feel like they are challenged with it, and I feel like they just spent too much with this last administration. I got that in the last reading too, and now they're going to be like really strict with it coming back around. So, like, if you got student loans, you got the IRS, I'm talking like money like that. You know what I mean? Pay mortgages, things like that, that the government, um, yeah, pay it off. Like, try to pay it off at least. It's saying you can do it. It's saying like, you can end up getting your goals met, but
mm.
it's like through having a clear head and communicating with yourself in a quiet enough, clear enough way to get these goals met as far as it relates to this money, or to get through this money issue or that we're having in this US.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, that's what came through.
Respect, respect, respect.
But what I'm also getting,
Mhm.
I'm getting intellectual conversations as it relates to money. So I'm getting really this at the top. There's a lot of conversation going on around money, and I'm getting that people, like the masses of people, to get your money up. Have logical conversations with yourself about money, or with your spouse or whoever about your money. I need to take that advice too. Have like logical, intellectual communication with yourself or with whoever's handling the money in your house about money and like where it's gonna go.
Mm. Interesting.
Yeah, right.
Yo, Sheba, I really appreciate your insight. I know you had some soaps earlier. I know you make soaps, and then also you do readings and things like that. That's how you make your that's how you make your living. So if people wanted to follow you, obviously I got your IG down at the bottom.
Yes.
Is there any other way that they can reach out to you and follow you?
Call me. If you want a reading, you can call me. If you want some soaps, you can go on my website. So my phone number is 404 268 4680, 404 268 4680.
Can they
And
text too, or is that a ley line? I know you're old school.
yeah, text me definitely.
Okay,
Um, and my website is beautyinsideoutcare.com. That's beautyinsideoutcare.com. Yeah, I have soaps and body butters. I do aromatherapy products. You know, it's everything that I do is geared towards growth, spiritual growth, and helping to heal others and myself as well.
beautiful. Yeah, I want to say thank you for coming on to the show. It's awesome the fact that I have someone in my family that I could tag team with and have come on the program anytime, and the fact that you can share all your beautiful gifts with us, as well as your products and your knowledge and your wisdom and your experience. I hope that you have a great day, great week, great month, great year, and a great life. Thank you for tuning in to Seven Circles. My name is Jonathan. Until next time, peace.